Hello students. Today we are with our paper Environmental Pollution Analysis, and in that we were discussing unit number 2, Water Pollution Analysis, and this is the last lecture of this unit number 2, Water Pollution Analysis. So we have already discussed all the points of this unit in detail. So today we are going to summarize the unit, means summary of unit number 2, water pollution analysis. In the summary, water pollution analysis, mainly these 5 points we have discussed it in detail, and now we are discussing it briefly. First point, mainly the syllabus of this unit is Introduction to Water Pollution. Second point, physical examination of water, chemical characterization of water, biological investigation of water, and the last point is minor components of water. We have discussed this all in detail with many examples and different methods. So our next slide is introduction. First of all, we have started this unit with the introductory part. Mainly we have discussed its environmental segments. Mainly you all know very well environmental segments are number 1 lithosphere, number 2 hydrosphere, number 3 atmosphere, and number 4 biosphere. So lithosphere, the earth crust part we call lithosphere. Hydrosphere, the water availability all over the planet is called hydrosphere, and atmosphere around weather air is called atmosphere, and all gases means all gases involved in atmosphere. Biosphere, all living organisms we have included in biosphere. So this way we have discussed this all segments in detail, and mainly we have discussed hydrosphere because we have the topic of water pollution analysis. So first of all, by hydrosphere we have discussed water availability on planet Earth. Then we have discussed water and its property, means chemical composition and its property, its nature. We have discussed in detail, and then we have discussed mineral water compositions. Mineral water composition, which kind of minerals are available in water, in which proportion. We have also discussed this topic in detail. So this way we have started water pollution analysis by its introductory part. From the beginning we have discussed. Then we have discussed about water pollution. In this unit, this term water pollution is very important because on the basis of this, water pollution analysis is depend only on the type of water pollution. So first of all we have discussed water pollution. First we have discussed about its definition. Then we have discussed about what are the causes of water pollution. So we have discussed many causes of water pollution in detail, and we have all the points discussed one by one. Then we have discussed what are the main types of water pollution. Mainly we have discussed surface water pollution, and second number groundwater pollution or underground water pollution. And another type of this water pollution is point source pollution and non-point source pollution. So we have discussed all these four in detail with its example. So we have discussed what are the main types of water pollution. Then the next point is types of water pollutants. In this unit, this is also very important. The types of water pollutants means we have discussed different water pollutants, and water pollution analysis is also based on this. Then the last point we have discussed what in water pollution is analysis of the causes and impact of water pollution. Means main causes for water pollution and impacts of water pollution. Impacts of water pollution. So in water pollution we have discussed these all points in detail with examples, and we have started this water pollution topic by its definition, and we can say by its, then we have discussed its classification, then we have discussed different pollutants, and in last we have discussed causes and impacts of water pollution. So by this way we have discussed all the basic concepts of this water pollution analysis. Otherwise you don't get any idea about this unit. These all fundamental terms you need to know in detail so that you can get more idea about this unit. So these all are very necessary points for this unit, and whatever I think it is necessary for you, I have involved and taken all the points in detail. Then we have discussed about water basics. In means basics of water we have discussed. First point was the importance of water. Means what is the importance of water in for any living organism, in industries, or in any another area. What is the importance of water? We have discussed it in detail. Then we have discussed water chemistry, means structure of water molecule and its chemistry we have discussed in detail. Then we have discussed the nature of water and environmental factors. Means the nature of water and different environmental factors. Then the next point we have discussed is water contamination. Then we have discussed water contamination. water contaminants and their origin. Then we have discussed different types of water contaminants and their origin, means the origin of all contaminants. Then we have discussed about WHO definition of water, or we can say definition by WHO. Then we have discussed about types of water testing. Mainly there are two types of water testing: mobile laboratory testing and laboratory testing. And then we have discussed about selecting test methods, the aspects of selecting test methods. We have discussed all the points in detail. So this way we have discussed about water basics, and this is the fundamental part of this unit. Then we have discussed about water analysis, how to analyze water, how many types of methods for water analysis we can employ. So our next slide is water analysis. We have discussed, and then first we have discussed water basics, then we have discussed water analysis. Why water analysis is necessary? The first point was why water analysis is necessary. Then the second point is qualitative and quantitative measurements of water pollution. Qualitative and quantitative measurements of water pollution. In that we have mainly 4 parameters: physical assessment. Second point is chemical assessment. Third point is biological assessment. And fourth point is microbiological assessment. So this way we can measure water pollution by 2 ways, qualitative and quantitatively. First point we have discussed was that physical examination of water. This is very interesting point of this unit, physical examination of water. In that we have discussed about odor. First point was odor, means its smell. So how we can identify the odor and what are the methods we can employ for this. Then the second point is turbidity. We have discussed it, what kind of instrument is used for measuring turbidity, and all aspects and parameter related to turbidity we have discussed. Then we have discussed about color of water and measurement technique for color. Then we have discussed about the taste, how to know the taste of water, has specific taste, and how to measure the taste of water. So we have discussed about this also in detail. Then we have discussed about temperature and how to measure temperature. These both methods are involved. Then we have discussed about pH. In pH There are three types of pH is available. pH, acidic, basic and neutral. So in physical examination of water, pH is general. Then we have discussed about electrical conductivity, and we have discussed many slides related to this electrical conductivity. Then we have discussed the term total dissolved solid. TSS, the full form of TSS is total suspended solid. Then we have discussed about the dissolved solids. Then we have discussed about total solids, in that you can get total suspended solid and total dissolved solid both in. Now we are going to discuss the next slide. So this is how the physical examination of water we have discussed. But today we are having summary of this unit. So it may be some. Then the next point is chemical characterization of water. In chemical characterization of water, there are mainly 5 parameters. First one is pH, means alkalinity and acidity. In pH we have discussed many types of solution, means the range of pH. Then we have discussed about CO2, carbon dioxide. Then we have discussed about chemical substances, means dissolved chemical substances in water, and in that we have discussed many: iron, aluminium, then we have discussed about COD, chemical oxygen demand, and in the last we have discussed alkalinity and hardness. So this way we have discussed all chemical characterization. And in alkalinity and hardness, it is also necessary we have discussed all the methods for find out the nature of alkalinity and restaurant. Types of hardness. We have also discussed about different types of hardness. There are 2 types of water hardness. First one is temporary hardness and second one is permanent hardness. We have discussed these types of hardness in detail. What are the radicals present and important for temporary hardness? We have also discussed that. And what radicals are reason for the permanent hardness? We have discussed this all in detail. And you may have questions from this all question in exam. Then we have discussed about classification of hardness. In that we have discussed soft water, moderately hard water, very hard water. And it is depends on, you can see here, soft water is equal to 1 milli equivalent per liter. And this way we can say soft water, moderately hard water and very hard water. This classification is based on this. You can see here. Then we have discussed about removal of hardness, because hard water is not good for any industry, boiler or for any purpose, for drinking purpose. So it is necessary to remove hardness of water. First one, A, for temporary hardness. How to remove temporary hardness? We are discussing this point. For temporary hardness, by boiling we can remove hardness, and by addition of lime we can remove hardness. So there are mainly two methods for to remove temporary hardness is boiling and then addition of lime. And for permanent hardness, for removal of permanent hardness, addition of lime. First method is addition of lime. Then we have discussed about addition of sodium carbonate. The very next method, addition of sodium carbonate. And in last, we have discussed about base exchange method or permutate process. And this method is for removing permanent hardness of water. So by this way, we have discussed all this point in detail. Then we have discussed about biological properties. Biological property, in that we have discussed these all points. Point number 1 is dissolved oxygen, DO, its definition and its explanation. Then we have discussed about biochemical oxygen demand, BOD. Then we have discussed chemical oxygen demand, COD. And then we have discussed microorganisms and bacterial counts. So by this way we have discussed all these biological properties in detail, and we have also discussed its a difference between BOD and COD. We have discussed that also. the difference between BOD and COD. And this all is based on dissolved oxygen. And then in next slide, in microorganisms and bacterial counts, we have discussed different methods for this. Then we have discussed about water and microorganisms. And then we have discussed about microbiological study of water. And then we have discussed about bacteriological water analysis. So these all points are from biological investigation of water. Then our next slide is measurements of this all. In biological properties, there are mainly these three: DO, dissolved oxygen, biochemical oxygen demand, and chemical oxygen demand. So we have described all the methods for measurements of dissolved oxygen, DO, then for biochemical oxygen demand, BOD, and then we have discussed chemical oxygen demand, COD. So this way we have discussed all. So in the summary, we are discussing that what kinds of topic we have discussed in this unit. એટલે કે આપણે કયા પ્રકારના ટોપિક્સ આ યુનિટના અંદર ડિસ્કસ કર્યા. મેઇનલી આપણે એના વિશે અત્યારે વાત કરી રહ્યા છીએ કે આ આખા યુનિટના અંદર ડે ટુ ડે આપણે કયા પોઈન્ટ્સ ડિટેલમાં ડિસ્કસ કર્યા, જેના અંદરથી દરેક પોઈન્ટે ખૂબ જ એક્સપ્લેનેશન અને અન્ડરસ્ટેન્ડિંગ માટે ખૂબ જ ઇમ્પોર્ટન્ટ છે એવા દરેક પોઈન્ટ્સને આ યુનિટના અંદર લીધા છે. So by reading you can also get idea about this unit. Then in this next slide we have discussed, actually we want to discuss about minor ions of water. But we have started this point with based on concentration, classification based on concentration. So we have discussed this, what kind of ions we can say it's minor ions. So by this way we have discussed the classification based on its concentration. In that first, measure ions. Measure ions means more than 10 milligram per liter. Dissolved ion proportion is more than 10 milligram per liter in water. In that we have mostly bicarbonates, calcium, magnesium, chloride, sodium, sulfate and silicon. Then we have discussed about minor components. minor ions of the water. In that we have discussed about carbonates, fluoride, nitrate, potassium, iron, strontium and boron. Then we have discussed about mainly we concern with the minor components, mean minor ion, and its proportion is from 0.1 to 10 milligram per liter. And by this way we can say these all are minor ions because its concentration is from 0.1 to 10 milligram per liter. By its concentration we can get idea about minor ions and major ions. And then in last we have discussed trace elements. Mostly aluminium, arsenic, barium, bromide, cadmium, chromium, cobalt, copper, lead means lead, zinc, nickel, phosphate, silver, tin and vanadium. Trace elements less than 0.1 milligram per liter dissolved solids or proportion. So by this way we have discussed about minor components or minor ions. And then we have discussed all these minor components of water in detail one by one. First we have discussed about aluminium. And determination of aluminium we have discussed that also. Then we have discussed about barium and its definition, and by this way we have discussed about boron, manganese, potassium, iron. Then we have discussed about manganese, potassium, iron, strontium, carbonate, fluoride, nitrate and phosphate. In this you can see there is written carbonate. In earlier slide by mistake I have written this carbonate. And in nitrate and nitrite, nitrite is not important for discussing. Then we have discussed about iron, strontium, carbonate, fluoride, nitrate and phosphate. In this we have discussed all the points in detail. Mainly For in minor components of water, we have discussed all the components, and its proportion we can say minor component because its proportion concentration is around 0.1 to 10 milligram per liter. So and we have also discussed all minor components of water. In minor components of water, we have also discussed the analysis, or we can say determination of this all: aluminium, barium, boron, manganese, potassium, iron, strontium, carbonate, fluoride. So by this way we have discussed all 5 points of this unit. And this is mainly the last slide of this unit. We have discussed all the points, we started with introduction. In introduction we have discussed about the hydrosphere on planet Earth, water availability, કેટલું પીવાલાયક પાણી છે, કેટલું ઇન્ડસ્ટ્રીયલ યુઝ માટે છે. Then we have discussed about water basics. In that we have discussed all the points. Then we have discussed about all the parameters like physical assessment, chemical assessment, biological assessment, and microbiological assessments. Then we have discussed about the topic physical examination of water in detail. Then we have discussed about physical examination. Then we discuss about chemical characterization of water, and then we have discussed about biological properties or analysis. So by this way we have discussed all the parameters of this unit, and this is how we can summarize this unit. In next lecture we will have a new unit. We will start a new unit. Here actually so each and every point is important for you. So we are concluding our lecture here. In next lecture we will have some new topic, new unit, and we will start it with introduction part. So here we are concluding our lecture. In next lecture we will have a new unit. So stay connected, and I am giving this all information in very simple language, so you can get idea, you can get more idea. So thank you students. In this unit we have all discussed all the points in detail, and then we have discussed briefly. So here we are concluding our lecture. But you need to memorize this unit, and you may need some practice for different component of this unit. Mainly if you are discussing about aluminium, then first of all its occurrence and then determination of aluminium. All methods we have involved in minor components of water, then barium, boron, manganese, potassium, iron, strontium, carbonate, fluoride, nitrate and phosphates. So here we are concluding our lecture. Thank you students.